SBR Forum's Punters is brought to you by Bookmaker.
We're previewing Week 5 in college football here at SBR Forum Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. We're talking right now with Doug Upstone from sports-watch.com. And Doug, the third game that you said you want to talk about is TCU at SMU. Now, TCU is a huge road favorite here, minus 16.5, although it opened at 18. SMU got crushed by Baylor and Texas A&M. TCU's offense is looking very effective. They've got a deep receiving core and a backfield by committee. So I guess if both of these teams play to form as they've played this year, you got to love TCU getting giving just under 20 points. But they're both off of a bye, and if SMU does make significant improvements this week, in a rivalry game like this, I could easily see them covering a huge number like this at home. What's your take on this game?
Well, Peter, you mentioned the word love, and I think it was you that told me in the first video we did this year that I was like 8-0 last year in games that I love.
7-0.
And of course, last week I was all over Penn State.
Yeah.
Now, as much as I like them, I like this matchup even more.
Really?
Now, TCU, yes, absolutely. Now TCU owns the longest winning streak in the country presently at 11 games, and their last setback was against SMU, where they lost 40-33 in overtime in Fort Worth, which ended their 22-game home winning streak. Now, if you know anything about Texas Christian coach Gary Patterson, he is amazingly intense and never misses a teaching moment. Now, for the returning players that were there for that defeat, Patterson will be reminding them all week about how that felt. And because they played so poorly for the first 3 quarters of that game before coming back to tying it, he will be relentless on them. Now, quarterback Casey Patchell has had some red zone issues this year, but he's been on target to, as you mentioned, the fine group of wide receivers that they have. Now, this TCU pass chucker has to be looking at this SMU secondary like a 48-ounce Texas T-bone, as the Mustangs are dead last in passing yards allowed at 388 per game. Now, the SMU defense is like watching one of those thick German beers being poured out of a tap. Very slow. Now, this gives TCU, in my opinion, a tremendous advantage, much like it did for Baylor, who has similar athletes on the perimeter to what the Frogs have. Offensively, new quarterback Garrett Gilbert is still learning the nuances of June Jones' run-and-shoot offense, and his development has been curtailed by an offensive line that had 5 new starters to begin the year. Now, in this case, give me a motivated team with superior talent that has revenge in its hearts and knows how to win on the road with a 16-1 straight-up record against a sputtering, slow-footed outfit that lacks identity and confidence. With TCU 11-2 after allowing 9 points or less in 2 straight games, I like the Frogs big over SMU.
Dude, you are an awesome college football analyst. I'll tell you that. I like it too. TCU minus 16.5. I'm also thinking about maybe a TCU on the team total over. What do you think? I mean, it sounds like they're just going to be able to, take the SMU secondary apart all day.
Yeah, well, the total is kind of reminds me of last week though, when SMU played Texas A&M.
Yeah.
Is that it looked like an easy over, but SMU's offense can be stifled.
Right.
And so in that case, I can't say I really know which is going to be the better way to go. If anything, based on that, I would tend to lean to the under, but you can make the case for the over as well.
Right. I was actually talking about the TCU team total over, which I believe, SMU's opponent, Texas A&M did cover their team total over last week as well.
Right, exactly. Okay, I got you.
All right. Thanks, Doug. We'll talk to you again next week.
That's perfect. Thank you.